السلام عليكم. كيفنا يا جماعة؟ لا نحتاج أكثر من كذا شوية، كيفكم يا جماعة؟ أوكي سمعنا واحدة وكويس. طيب الحمد لله رب العالمين. أنا الدكتور حكيم جمعة، واليوم حتكلم لكم على going pro. أعطيكم a bit of a backstory about myself. I was a medical doctor until 2 years ago when I decided to take a massive leap of faith and jump into the world of filmmaking. My family was thrilled about this news. They absolutely loved that their son, who had studied for 7 years in medical school, suddenly decided to pursue the arts. It went great. So a thing I learned, and the discussion is going to be about 4 things I learned at Ithra. Shameless product plug. Does Ithra know that I was going to say 4 things about Ithra? No. Are they paying me to be here? Yes. Are they paying me for this product plug? No. So في استبيان برا تعبوه إنه a petition خلينا we pay Hakeem for this product plug. Anyway, this is not my first time at Ithra. I've been at Ithra several times before, and Ithra embodies the spirit of adventure that I embraced when I did take this leap of faith into filmmaking. And the first thing I learned was 2 Tanweens ago, when I was the host of Tanween, and there was the guest Adam Savage, who was one of the co-hosts of Mythbusters, and he was someone that my family and I would gather every Friday, and we'd watch him over lunch, and suddenly, fast forward 4 years later, I'm sitting across from him at a table and we're having a discussion for an hour. And I wanted to ask this guy so many questions because back then I was still torn between medicine and the world of filmmaking, and I didn't know where to start. Filmmaking was a passion of mine, but I didn't know where I would begin. Where do I even begin to start this journey that I knew nothing about? I didn't know the first thing about filmmaking. And he was an engineer, a run-of-the-mill engineer who on the side used to create models, he used to build models, and suddenly he was on the set of Star Wars and he was building models for them, and he was building sets for them. And then he went on to host Mythbusters, and he started to make a slew of other props, sets, costumes for them. So, first lesson. He said, dreams are drudgery. What does drudgery mean? Drudgery means they're heavy. Dare I say it, they're boring. They're interesting at first as a concept. Everyone wants to follow their dreams, but nobody wants to walk the road. He said that what I had to learn between the making of fantastical objects and doing that professionally, what I had to learn was how to work hard. So this introduced me to the concept of what is called the potter. The potter is someone who would work 8 hours or more creating a single pot and selling it for next to nothing. But him selling something that he made was the reward that he reaped from that hard work. But he had to work really, really hard. We only see the end result. We don't know what goes into it. So he's like, if you learn to work hard and acknowledge that dreams are really, really boring most of the time, then you're more than halfway there. Fast forward, after I met Adam Savage, I was super inspired. I was like, okay, let's get going, let's start. I had decided that I was going to write 10 pages every single day while I was in the ER, between patients. In my spare time, I'd write 10 pages every day. It could be 10 pages of complete and utter nonsense, but it had to be 10 pages that I produced every day. And it was a story that I started to follow. And suddenly this story became a script. I had a finished script. I had no excuse. It was so easy for me in the beginning that I had this excuse, oh, I'm writing the script, so I don't really have to do anything. Now, I'm just writing the script. Suddenly the script was done. What am I going to do with the script now? So, the script was a horror film that took place in Madain Saleh. This was before there was a cultural authority, before there was any kind of real entertainment movement in the kingdom. So you go to production houses in Saudi and you tell them, hey, here's the script about Madain Saleh, that's a horror movie. They gave me a gigantic no. They were like, we're not going to touch this, we're not going to come near us, because before then, the only film to have come out of Saudi Arabia was Baraka Yuqabil Baraka. And even then, that was very much a risk. But for me, seeing a film like Baraka Yuqabil Baraka meant that there was a movement starting. Something was going on, and that was something that I wanted to be a part of. Something that was not possible for me when I was in med school now started to become a thing. So I didn't take no for an answer. I decided, okay, the production houses are out. I'm just gonna start doing stuff myself. I'm gonna find a dinky camera, a dinky microphone. The videographer for my wedding was my director. I called him up one day. I'm like, hey, you wanna go up to Madain Saleh and make a movie? He's like, great, why not? And sure enough, fast forward 8 months later, after a grueling, ridiculously difficult sequence of drudgery, we had a finished movie. And that should have been satisfying for me, but I have no ceiling. I have no success ceiling. I have no measure of success. We started submitting that film to festivals all over the place. And then we got a lot of no's, and then we got a single yes 5 months later from Hong Kong. And they asked a very nice question. They asked if Madain Saleh was a set that we had built. They didn't know that Madain Saleh was a thing. So for me, I was like, okay, great. People are seeing something that came out of the kingdom that actually, it taught people something in a fun way. And now we have a fully fledged film industry that I am happily a part of. So step one for everyone who wants to follow their dreams, be you a freelancer, an entrepreneur, whatever it might be, dreams are a lot of hard work and they're really, 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 really boring. 2, at the Tanween Forum, Muntada Ithra, I met a person called Faisal al-Saif. Faisal al-Saif knew about my story, he knew about what I wanted to do, he knew about where I wanted to go, and he gave a talk at the forum that really, really inspired me. Faisal al-Saif is the founder and CEO of TechPills. It is the biggest technology review company in Saudi Arabia. This guy was an aerospace engineer. He would design weapons for planes, and suddenly he decided that that's not what I want to do anymore. And he had a camera, and he had a microphone, and he said, I'm going to start reviewing phones. And he started reviewing phones, and from then on, he created a tech empire that he is now very comfortably in. But he said, same thing, it's going to take a minute. It's going to take a minute, and it's going to be extremely, extremely difficult. So, gathered with this advice, Adam Savage, Faisal al-Saif, fast forward again at Ithra, product plug again, the Saudi Film Festival. At the Saudi Film Festival, I met a very excitable Cuba Gooding Jr. We sat down with Cuba Gooding Jr. I had a one-on-one interview with Cuba Gooding Jr. at the library upstairs. I was talking to him about his filmmaking journey. I was talking to him about how he started. And he said that, and this does not just apply to people in the filmmaking industry, this applies to anyone who's doing anything. He said that everyone waits around for the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity, the perfect role. Why not just write it? People wait by the phone for their dreams to happen. They wait for that one sign from the universe that their dreams are supposed to be pursued right here and right now, instead of just planning for it and going for it. That's never going to happen. No one's going to accomplish your goals for you. No one's going to realize your dreams for you. You have to meticulously plan, and you have to write them yourselves. You have to write your own story. Then I met a Miss Raya Abi Rashid also at the Saudi Film Festival. Again, this was like an up-close and personal opportunity for me to talk to these people, to gain from their insights. Raya Abi Rashid was a pioneer in the Middle Eastern entertainment industry because she decided that I am going to be the voice of Hollywood in the Middle East. I'm going to go, I'm going to do whatever I want. So I told her what was her catalyst, what made her do what she wanted to do. She said, I just wanted to do it. She said, they will tell you what you are, what you should do. They will tell you this is right and this is wrong. You take what you can use and throw away what you don't need. You define you. So, mustering up that courage, I decided to take the leap of faith and jump from medicine completely because I could not do medicine and filmmaking at the same time. At first, when the movement was slow, when the Saudi film movement was slow, yes, you could absolutely do both at the same time. And I was doing one to satisfy my family and one for me. There is a saying in the filmmaking industry, one for you, one for the studio. Medicine was my one for the studio, one for the big people. Filmmaking was one for me. But then, in the span of 3 years, things changed massively in the kingdom. Suddenly there was this gigantic movement, and filmmaking started from a crawl to a sprint. And that was a bandwagon that I wanted to be a part of. I wanted to be one of the founding members of the modern Saudi film industry. I wanted to build the foundation along with other people of my age group and of my experience level, so we can create something, content by us, for us. And to do that, I couldn't balance medicine and filmmaking anymore. So I took that massive step. And I came up with a little formula, one which I use over and over and over again. Plan, proceed, persist. Persist, it takes a lot of persistence because you are going to get a lot of resistance. You're going to get a lot of resistance breaking free from what is safe into uncharted water. At the end of the day, filmmaking, like any other freelance endeavor, like any other entrepreneurial endeavor, is a very, very, very uncertain territory. It's a blind spot. Blind spots scare us, naturally so. We have families that we need to support. We have responsibilities. So I decided that so long as I am capable of maintaining everything, and there's no excuse to not maintain everything. If you can maintain your responsibilities, you can keep everyone happy. It doesn't matter the means through which they get their ends. So I planned, I proceeded, and I persisted. And alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, we are in a place now in 2021. I signed many contracts where I can't tell you what's happening in 2021, but 2021 is going to be one of the most decisive years in Saudi content. And again, it couldn't have happened without people wearing that blindfold and taking that leap of faith. So if anyone here has a dream that they want to follow, remember, dreams are boring, it's a lot of drudgery, it's a lot of resistance. Be that potter. Work for 8 hours a day for that 1 minute of satisfaction. If you are capable of doing that, then I promise you the sky's the limit. Our country's at a turning point right now where we need dreamers. We need people like you who have that charge, who are able to go out into the world and do things that have not been done before, because we are going to create our new normal. I'm Hakeem Jomah. Thank you. And inshallah, I see you in the future following your dreams. Waruni what you can do.
شكرا حكيم جمعة. خليك معي على الستيج، عندي بعض الأسئلة الشيقة لك.
شيقة
ومثيرة وجيدة أيضا.
الله، شيقة ومثيرة وجيدة.
أستاذ حكيم يقول أن العبقرية هي إلهام بنسبة 1% و99% مجهود.
نعم.
تؤكد هذه المعلومة.
نعم.
سمعناك تقول أنه الأحلام هي مجهود كبير جدا وفلة وناسة وشيء حلو بنسبة قليلة جدا.
نعم.
جميل. فنتفق على هذه النقطة.
نتفق.
عندنا أتوقع أسئلة من الكنترول على الشاشة هنا. طيب, what would you tell young talents who are interested in pursuing a career in filmmaking?
Okay, so right now we are not in a place where we were before, where finding filmmakers is difficult. You have specialized programs in schools for filmmaking. So what I would do as Hakeem Jomah, who wants to create a film, go to the students, follow student accounts, follow those programs in the school. Like in Jeddah we have Jum'at Ifat. Jum'at Ifat has it has an audiovisual department. Contact them, add them on Instagram, Twitter. We are in an age of connectivity unlike any before. You can find a producer, a director, a light guy, a sound guy, everyone at the click of an Instagram button or a Twitter DM. It's literally at your fingertips. There's no excuse not to.
Thank you, Hakeem. We have another question also about filmmaking, of course. What are some challenges that filmmakers in Saudi face today?
What are not the challenges that face Saudi filmmakers today? Number one challenge, it's not technical, it's personal. Ego. I thought doctors had big egos. Wait until you see what an artist's ego is like. I decided long ago that I'm going to ditch ego. I'm going to ditch it. I've seen ego before, doesn't get me anywhere. With an ego, I cannot learn. So I see people coming straight out of university and they're like, I'm a director now. No, you are not. I went from the head of an ER department, the head of a primary healthcare center, to working lights and sound, only to be on a film set so I know what everyone does, how they do it, when they do it. I eliminated my ego. I didn't think, oh, I'm this big doctor. Why should I be on set doing sound and lights when I can just instantly jump to being a director? No. So, if I were to say the number one challenge facing Saudi filmmakers now, ego. Know your role. I was a location manager for a film, a Hollywood film in Al-Ula. A location manager. I slept in a car in the middle of the desert in sub-zero weather to make sure that the tents didn't fly away. I thought to myself several times, "Ana Doctor, why am I doing this?" But then like, no, check yourself. You're learning. So if we are willing to learn, if we are willing to take criticism, then those challenges are abolished. Keep your ego at the door. I beg you, we don't have an industry yet. There's no room for ego. You are not Christopher Nolan.
Thank you, Hakeem. We have one more question, which is a very, very important question.
تفضل.
Does your wife support your decision to leave the first profession and jump into filmmaking?
Arguably the only person to have supported this decision has been my wife. I think she's somewhere here.
She should be somewhere here.
Okay, there you go. She's up there.
Khaira Bundukji was with us on stage yesterday. Thank you, Khaira.
I wanted to product plug her because she was given a personal branding workshop and she said, Hakeem, you can't focus on both anymore. Personal branding, you need to focus on one thing and you need to tell people you're one thing. You can't tell them you're a doctor and actor. I tell people I'm a doctor and an actor and a director because my mom is listening and she hears me say that I'm an actor and a writer without saying doctor. And I see that here it mentioned Hakeem Jomah half kid without the doctor. My mom is coming for you. She has seen this and she is coming for you.
هذه عند الكنترول مو عندي.
عند الكنترول ايوه بس انا بقول يعني بصفة عامة لو واحدة كبيرة في السن جات وقاعد تزعق فيكم That's on you, that's not on me.
شكرا حكيم جمعة وشكرا خير بندقجي في الستيج يعطيكم العافية.